Welcome to Creamer Media's Polity. I'm Amy Witherden. I am at the offices of Wentzel attorneys in Ilovo to speak with Associate Okyerebea Ampofu-Anti about the government's stand on the Protection of Information Bill. Okyerebea, last month, State Security Minister Wentzel briefed Parliament's ad hoc committee on the Protection of Information Bill on government's official stand on submissions made on the Protection of Information Bill. What is your take on Wentzel's briefing?
Well, my take on it, Amy, is that unfortunately it simply hasn't done enough. There's a whole lot of other areas of the bill which the minister seems to have rejected the submissions on. For example, the public interest defense, where he simply refused to accept the necessity for that. So he's made one or two concessions, but largely he's rejected the criticisms to the bill, which is unfortunate.
What improvements, if any, have been made since the submission process?
Well, the main improvement that he has accepted will be made, because at this point we don't actually know. We're waiting for another draft, so we don't know what it's going to look like. But what he accepted in his talk was that they will have a look at the definition of national interest. As you'll recall, the definition of national interest has been heavily criticized because it's extremely broad. He's now accepted that that needs to be dealt with, and so they're going to take that out and they're going to put in a more streamlined definition which tries to limit the issues that the bill addresses to national security. And then the second thing is that he has accepted that the current definition of commercial information is also inappropriate and will have to be dealt with. But it's not clear how they intend to deal with that, or whether they're going to drop commercial information altogether, which is what was said in a number of the submissions, that commercial information shouldn't even be in the bill. It's not clear what they're going to do with that.
What key areas still need to be worked on?
The key areas that still need to be worked on, in our view, the biggest one is still the public interest defense, which the minister has rejected outright. His argument is that once that is accepted, then there'll be open sesame on publication of security information, because journalists or anybody will know that, oh, we have an option of defending ourselves by arguing that it's public interest. Now, I think that is not necessarily true, because the reality is that there will still be criminal sanctions in place, and if you are not able to establish public interest, you will be prosecuted and found guilty. And so I think that will certainly clarify the mind of any person that wants to publish national security information. So I think that the minister's blowing it out of proportion when he says that basically it will completely defeat or undermine the purpose of the bill to include public interest. The reality is that without public interest, this bill will be draconian, and it will constitute a serious infringement on freedom of expression if it happens that a journalist wants to disclose information that shows that there's been corruption or something of that nature, and then the person simply gets prosecuted for that and is not able to defend themselves.
Please, can you elaborate on the independent oversight mechanism suggested?
The idea behind the independent oversight mechanism was that the bill creates a mechanism for interested public bodies and so on to request declassification of a document on the basis that it is for public interest objective, maybe research and those types of things. And if that request is rejected, there's then an appeals process, but the person who will ultimately be making the decision is the minister. And what opponents of the bill have said is that the minister should not have the final say, because his job is to make sure that information doesn't get out there. So he automatically has an interest in protecting this information, and we will never be confident that a completely independent mind will be brought to bear on the information. You can think of a situation where a minister, not this minister, but maybe some minister in the future, is implicated in something, and which is revealed in classified documents. If that very same person is then responsible for deciding whether or not it should be declassified, why would they declassify the information? And so that's why people have argued that there must be an independent oversight mechanism, because we need somebody who does not have an interest in maintaining secrecy to have some kind of say over whether information is open to the public or not.
And government doesn't like this idea?
Well, they don't like this idea, and the minister has said that an independent oversight mechanism will not be established, and that oversight will remain within the ministry. And I can only assume that the reason for that is because they feel that the nature of the Secret Service and those types of things being what they are, they always want to retain control over information and very wary of having any third parties or outsiders who are not part of the security apparatus having access to that same information.
What is the process of the bill going forward?
Well, the process going forward is that we've been told that they're going to revise the bill based on these comments that the minister has made and the changes that he's accepted. So we will need to see a new draft of the bill coming from the ministry, and that will be given to the portfolio committee, and we'll see what they decide from there. And if the portfolio committee accepts the bill and decides that it's okay, then it'll go to the National Assembly to be voted on.